2005 Hyundai Sonata V6. .21mm. If you're going to do brakes, I recommend you take a screwdriver or something in here and get in here. Pry back and collapse the piston this way, just like that, and slide back. See the space in there? And you may want to maybe suck or use a rag to get some of the brake fluid out so it doesn't spill over when you collapse the piston, because you'll be pushing brake fluid back into the master cylinder. So we've got our piston mostly collapsed. 14mm. Just take both of them off. Make sure these slide freely. Here's the bottom one. It's got some rubber on it. Maybe put a little lubricant on it. Here's the inner pad. The outer pad. These don't look too bad. I think the other side is actually making noise though on the squealer. This is getting kind of close actually. So if you're just putting pads on, if you think your rotors are good, if you don't have any pulsation, you certainly could just put pads on, then you just put them in there and bolt it back up and you should be good to go. Make sure you pump the brakes a couple times before you actually try and drive, because they can be low brake pedal at first until you get them pumped up. If you do want to take the caliper off, so you can get to the rotor for machining, 17mm bolts back there, so we can take those off and get to the rotor. We've got some brake caliper lube. Then we're going to lube up these pistons. Sometimes we get a little packet with the brake pads. We got a container here. Just clean them up, put some lube on there. We got some new clips with our brake pads. Just try and clean these up as best you can with maybe some brake clean or soap and water. Clean these up, make them smooth, and bolt it back on and put your pads in. Some people do talk about putting some lubricant on the edges here wherever it rides on the caliper. You can do that if you want, but kind of found out that if it comes from the factory, I don't think there's any lubricant of any kind on it, so we go without. Okay. Okay, now these, you'll find rotors and drums will have screws on them sometimes, and they're almost always Phillips that I know of. Sometimes they don't just come off with a screwdriver, even with your best efforts. This is a impact driver. It has a Phillips bit on it. And you hammer on it and it will take the screws off. So I recommend using this. With a little practice, you can use a hammer, chisel. Try and show you how here. Just like that. Of course it does bugger up the Phillips head a little bit, but that's the price for getting your rotors off if you're stuck. So those are two ways. The best way, and then a way if you have to get them off, if you have a chisel and a hammer. So hope that helps you get your rotors off if you're taking the rotors off to be machined or replaced.